Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm thrilled to welcome you all to this exciting journey into the world of robotics, where creativity meets the technology. Whether you are new to robotics or already a tech enthusiast, this season will help you unlock new skills and ignite your imaginations. Together, we explore how to bring ideas to life using robotics step by steps. Let's dive in and make this an unforgettable learning experience. Let me introduce myself. My name is Academy Penang. So our code for today is every great innovation begins with a single idea. And today is the perfect day to turn your imagination into the reality of robotics. So let's dive in for the more training regarding the coding challenge. First of all, let me introduce what is Scratch. So I think a lot of us got here Scratch before this. Okay. Scratch is a programming tool but also a unique educational platform for children with a visual programming language that allows students to create their own interactive stories, games, and animation using C++ code blocks. So, they have two type of applications that can be used by students to program a Scratch. Okay. First one, we can use offline applications and we can use online applications. Okay. In Scratch, we have two user-friendly platforms to explore your creativity. One online and the other one is offline. The online platform is easily accessible by simply visiting the Scratch website through any browser where you can start coding right away without needing to install anything. Just type Scratch into your Google and your Google it's good to go. On the other hand, the offline platform allows you to download your Scratch onto your device. So you can work on your project anytime, even without internet access. This option is perfect for those who prefer flexibility and uninterruption creativity. Both platforms offer the same intuitive experience, making it easy for anyone to dive into the coding, whether online or offline. Okay, so the Scratch application can be downloaded from the Google by clicking mit-scratch.en.softonic.com. Otherwise, students can download the offline application by typing Scratch downloads in your Google. Otherwise, online application can be functioned via using the browser by clicking Scratch Online or Scratch. Okay, here is the two interface for Scratch Online and Scratch Offline. For the Scratch Online, there will be a website link. When you click on the Scratch Online, the interface will be in purple color. So students must log in or sign up for their new account to make their programs. Meanwhile, for Scratch Offline, students can download their application and the interface will be in blue color. So students can program their code or do their project without internet connections or any other interruptions. So in our Scratch, they have six elements of Scratch. Okay, this is the six main elements that function the Scratch applications. First one we call as block palette. Then second one we call as the script, the blank area to make the codes. Third one we call as a stage. Stage is the place that we can see our outputs or our programs by our eyes. Fourth one we call as the panel. Okay. Panel is the platform that we can edit our Scratch names, size, direction, and etc. Then the fourth element is backdrop. Backdrop is the platform that we can choose our background. And then the last one we call as sprite. Sprite is the platform that we can choose our character or objects to function our project. Let me dive into more details about the six elements of the Scratch. First one, I want to focus about the stage. Stage is all the action take places. In Scratch, the stage is a key element of the environment where projects come to life. Here's what it presented as a backdrop area. The stage serves as the background for your project, where you can add and change your backdrops to set the scene for your animations, games, and stories. Second one is the interaction space. It's where the sprites, your character, or an object move, interacts, and follow the instructions from your code blocks, displaying the action and animation you create. Third one is coordinate system. So the coordinate system has a x, y axis that helps position sprite accurately, allowing precise control over their movement and placement. Next is a panel. Panel is a place to edit our sprite name, edit the location XY axis, visibility of sprite show or hide, edit the size of a sprite, and edit the direction of the sprite. That means here is the platform we can control the sprite's details such as name, size, and directions. Third one. Third one we call as a sprite. Sprite is the character or a actor of the project. Can be programmed to perform actions and interact with other sprites in your project. Each sprite can have its own unique script or coding that detects and user interaction. That means this is the main character and make a story. Fourth is a backdrop stage. However, no stage is always the back layer. That means for our scratch. Fifth is a script. Script tell us the actors what you have to say or do. Each sprite is programmed with a script. That means the script area is a place for us to make the programming such as C++ code blocks. Here is the platform for us to do the coding to make the sprite move or any other behaviors. Next is the block palette for the scratch programming. The block palette is where the different script blocks are located. The different type of script blocks include motion, control, looks, sensing, and variables are located in the block palettes. This is the platform that we are going to choose our codes to program into your scratch. So these block palettes this is a easy to use platform for the students as a beginner to find their codes. Let me explain more about the blocks description that we saw in the block palettes. First one, we can see the platform that controls the up, down, left, right, and rotation movement of a sprite. Here is the platform to make the sprite move around the stage. Next, we call as a looks. Looks is the effects, the appearance of your sprite, such as color and costume. So normally we can make uh, colors of the sprite or costumes by the looks, or we can make the sprites to interact between each by using the looks block palette. Third one we call as a sound. Sound is the platform that control sounds, pictures, and rhythms. This is the platform we can do in our project to make the project interesting by adding some sounds or musics in our projects. Then we call it as events. So events allow to specify things such as what starts and stop your sprite. So the main character of the scratch coding are from the events. Otherwise, the project should be start or should be stop. Meanwhile, there's a control block that allows you to specify things such as conditional operators, such as repetition. So here is the platform we can find out some interesting learning codings such as if then, forever, and etc. Nevertheless, there has a sensing. Sensing can control to sense if your sprite is touching the edge, color, and etc. So here is the platform for us to program that the sprite touch another sprite to make a response. Next is operators. Operators is a logic operators including tools to perform match functions. That means in these operators, we will find out the operation conditionals, and comparisons blocks. Lastly, there's a variables. So variable block is to create variables to hold a value, number, or text in the code blocks. I hope all the students understand about the block descriptions. Now I will move on to the steps on how to add a sprite. First step, you have to open your Scratch application, and then when you click on the emoji of sprite, it will appear a tool first one as choose a sprite. When you click on the choose a sprite, it will move on to the next page, such as a lot of sprites included in one website. So students can choose any sprite that you want for your projects. So what must students do? Students must move your mouse and click on the sprite you're gonna use. When you click on the sprite, last one, the sprite will be added to your stage. Next, I want to guide you for add a backdrop. We have to do the same steps, but now we are going to choose the backdrop area. When you click on the backdrop icon, you have to choose a backdrop. Then it will move to the next page for you to choose the beautiful backdrops for your projects. Students can choose any of the backdrops for their project. When the students click on the backdrop that they choose as the picture, now I'm going to teach you how to edit a backdrop. First, if you already choose the backdrop, go to the block palettes. After you click on the block palettes, it will go to the next page for you to customize the backdrop. So here is the platform that the students can edit their backdrop, coloring, or draw the backdrops. So but the students must click on the sprite given. Student must choose the sprite and then they have to click on the costumes on the block palettes. Third step, they have to click on the editing area and choose the So if you already learn about the editing your scratch and backdrop, add your backdrop and sprite. So now I'm going to guide you about how to save your project to your computer. So first of all, students must click on the file on the top left. Once students finish their project, they can click on the file on the top options that's called save to your computer. So students must click on save to your computer, and it will pop up an option to choose your place to save your projects. In this moment, students can change their file name and can save it at the location they need. After they click the name, students must click on save options to save the project. The project will be saved as a SB3 file. Re-edit their project. Okay, so now the students are ready to re-edit their project. So students must load their project from your scratch. How the students can do? Okay, first step, students must click on the file again and click load from your computer. So once the students click on load from your computer, they must choose the file and click on it and press open. When the students press open, the Scratch project will be loaded into your. These students can start to edit their project as they wish. Okay, so now I hope these ideas will guide you for the do your Scratch project in your Scratch application. So what must students do is they must click on the file again, and now they must click on the new, the first option of the file. They must click on the new, and then they have to confirm it with pressing OK. So once they click on OK, they will get a new Scratch project file that can help the students to create their new projects. So now I'm going to teach you about how to do your codes with more details. I hope there's a students are following me and do their projects with me. Well now, well now, this is the platform for your Scratch project. Now I'm going to develop a beginners with the basic and simple steps to make a project. So first of all, students must open their Scratch platform, and they will be shown a sprite that's called sprite 1. And here is the block code palettes that I mentioned just now. This is the script, this is the stage, this is the panel, backdrop areas, and sprite. So here there has a costumes. When the students click on the costumes, here is the platform to edit their sprite. The third option is sounds. So here is the platform that students can edit their sounds or add their sounds. So now I want to all the students delete your sprite. So how to delete it? So students must move their mouse and goes to the dustbin over here. So when the students click on the dustbin, the sprite will be deleted. So now let's follow me to add a sprite. So as I said just now, students can add their sprite by clicking the sprite icon in the bottom right. So here is the place to choose sprite icons. When you move to here, there will be a lot of toolbars that helps you to edit your sprites. So I will click on here, and now there will be shown a lot of sprites that we are going to use in our projects. This is the default sprites that students can be used in their projects. However, students also can add their own sprite by upload it. So now I'm going to choose my first sprite, and it's called Danny. So I will just move the mouse and click on the sprite that I'm going to use. When I click on the sprite I chosen will be added in the stage. So I can click and hold and drag the Danny to relocate their position. So here is the panel that we can edit the name, XY axis, show or hide, size and direction of the sprite. If I want to change the size of the sprite, I will directly click on here, delete the number, and set the size that you are going to set. So now I'm going to change the size of Danny into 50. So here is the direction that we can rotate the sprite position. When you click on the direction, there will be shown an arrow with 90 degrees. So you can click the arrow here and move to change the direction of sprite. So it can be changed from 0 to 180, and it will be from minus 180 to 0. So you also can delete the number here and set the position and direction of the sprite. Okay. Then if I click on the XY over here, I can change the value of X. X is the meaning that the position, the left and right position of the sprite. So I will set 0 as the coordination grid for the sprite. Next, I also will set 0 for Y value based on the coordination grid. So when I change the XY axis, the direction of the sprite will be changed. 20. The position of the sprite will be changed according to the XY axis. Here, we can adjust the sprite and move to the position we need. So when you move the sprite, the XY axis will be changed automatically. Okay, so now let me teach you how to add a backdrop. So now students can go to the backdrop area at the bottom right, backdrop 1. So and students can click on the choose a backdrop, and students can choose the backdrop they're going to use in their projects. So now I'm going to use a boardwalk in my project. When I click on the boardwalk, my stage will be filled up with the backdrop we choose. Two more sprites in my project. So I will directly goes to the sprite over here, and the table will be pop up in the stage. So I will just change the size of the apple and place it on the top. Next, I will choose donut. So students can search their sprite name and click on the sprite and change the size of the sprite. And we can the costumes over here. When I click on the costumes, they will move on to the editing page. Going to color my apple. So I will choose the fill option over here. Then I will choose the color for my apple. So students have to choose the have to move to this field over here, the colors that students want. So now I'm going to choose a green color, apple. So if you can see, my apple will be back to the normal color. So students can move to the sprite and click on it to fill the color. Then students can click on the code again to make the coding for the apple. So now I'm going to add two more sprites again. So one is milk, another one is snack. Students also can choose their sprite in their categories. For example, if I need to choose an animal sprite, they can click on the animal options. Otherwise, change the size of my sprite. I'm going to teach you how to make a code for your sprite. First of all, you must make sure you choose. So now I'm going to do the code for the Danny. So I must click on the Danny sprite, and I have to make sure my script is empty to do the coding for this sprite. So if you see here, there has a block palette. We call it as a when green flag click. So all of you have a green flag and a red color stop or game. That means to play your story, play your animation, or play your games. So the red one is an option to stop your games. So hence, so when you click on the event block palettes, they will change the coding to events options. It will be more interesting when they provide a colorful blocks to the students. So firstly, I have to choose the coding I have to do. For the first step, I want to use when green flag click. That means when the green flag over here. So this will be the first coding for the scratch. So students must move their mouse on the code blocks, click on the code block, and the coding down here must be working. So now, okay, so now I want to make the Danny to move to the right and the left. Okay, so what I have to do is so what I have to do is now you have to put your green flag click, then you have to put a forever block. So I will click on the control and choose the third code block for the that is shown. The code over here will be must drag the code, and that means when you click on the green. So this is the statement to control the sprite to move to the left and the right. So just click on the if and drag and put into the forever blocks. If you see here in the if then block, there has a shape over here for our operators. Sorry for the interruption. There's a technical issue over the internet connections. Okay, so now I say as the y position is less than minus 170, it will go back to the random 180. To do their coding one by one to make sure that there's no error while they're doing the projects. Okay, so now I'm going to teach you about how to create a variable to store a value, number, or text in your Scratch programming. So when you see here, we have a dark orange color block and it writes variables over here. When you click on it, it will give you an option that is called make a variable. So when you click on make a variable, that means you are going to create a new variable for your project. So for this project, I'm going to click on the make a variable and they have a text box for us to type our variable name. And I'm going to create vitamin C. Once you already put your variable name, and then you can press OK. If you press on the OK, the variables option will be added your variables in the blocks. So now in this variable we also have set the variable name to 0. That means whenever you're doing the project at the beginning you can set the value to the 0, and it can be change your variable by 1, or you can change the value by the number you need. Okay, so now I'm going to put another green flag, and I'm going to say when the green flag click also we must put a variable name that going to change into the 0. So if you see here, when I click and create a variable on our stage, it will pop up a option that is our variable name with the value of 0. So now students can go to the variable again and you can choose set your variable to 0. So if you notice, there is a different name that pop up in the block. So we can change it by clicking on the option over here and choose the variable we need. Then I will put a forever block over here. And I'm put a if then inside the forever. So now I'm going to say that whenever the apple touch the Danny, that means the apple touch the sprite human, so we have to increase the vitamin to the human. So what I can do is I will go to the sensing, as I say, for the touching another sprite we will do in the sensing blocks. So we will choose the first block. We say touching mouse pointer, and we will change the mouse pointer into Danny, and we will put in the if then. Okay, so now when the apple touch Danny, we will go to the variable and change my variable by 1. That means change the vitamin C by 1. So whenever the apple touch the Danny, the vitamin C value over here will be changed by 1. Whenever it's changing, we need an interesting sound for the project. So I will go to the sounds block palettes over here and I will put start sound block. Okay. Then since you already touched the vitamins, you touch the Danny and play the sound, we will go back to the random position and set the place to 180. So this is the simple code that we are going to create. I'm going to teach you about how to make the apple fall down and touch the sprite. So when you see here, if I click on the green flag, the apple will be falling down, and if it's less than minus 170, it will go back to the random position. Meanwhile, if I touch the apple, it will start a sound and increasing your variable value. Then I'm going to teach you about how to make the code for the different sprites. So now I'm going to create for the donut. So donut is it's a interesting sprite to make the code. So for this donut, I'm going to create a lifeline. So when the sprite is taking too much of sweet, such as donut, the lifeline will be decreased. So how the students can do is when the green flag click. So whenever the green flag click, as I mentioned before, the donut should be goes to the random position and set the value y value to 180. Okay, so since you already set the value to 180, so then you have to put a forever and change y by minus 7. So if you want the donut to falling down faster, you can increase the value over here. Then I'm going to put a if then so here I'm going to choose the operator as the less than. Yes, less than, and change the value to minus 170 and set the y position inside the first statement. So if the donut is moved until minus 170, so the donut must go back to the random position and set the position to 180 again. Meanwhile, next, so I'm going to create a new variable. Okay, just now I create vitamin C. So now I'm going to create a new variable that's called lifeline. Press OK. So if you notice, there's a new variable pop up in the stage. So I can click on the variable here and move to the direction that I want. So now I will put the lifeline over here. And now I'm going to put another green flag. So the variable I put set the lifeline to 5. That means whenever I click on the green flag, the value over here must be changed into 5. And I put a forever. If then, and then when it touched the Danny, that means when it touched the sprite, the human, so the variable should be changed the value. So the lifeline should be changed by -1. That means the 5 will be keep on changing with decreased value. It will be -1. So whenever it's -1, so you can put a sound over here, go to sound, start sound, chomp. So if the students don't like the sound, they can click on the arrow here. They can choose otherwise bite or chomp. Otherwise, students also can record their own sound. Otherwise, students can choose the sounds option over here. Click on it. So here, if you see, they already given a default sound. So students can make it faster, slower, louder, or fade in or fade out. And at the same time, student also can choose a new sound by clicking the icon over here. Click here, it will go to the next. So this page will be fully with the different sounds. So students can choose the sounds related or the sound they need. Okay. And they can click on it to choose the sound. So since you already choose the sound, you can go back to the code, click on the arrow here, and choose the sound that you select just now. So once you already put the start sound, and then you may put go to random position and set Y to 180 again. So in this time, if you notice, when I touch the apple, the vitamin will be increased. But whenever I touch the donut, my lifeline will be decreased. Okay. So now I want to make the game more interesting. So that means I want to make the game to stop or end whenever the lifeline is 0. So what I will do is I will put another green flag over here. And then we goes to the control. We put wait until. Okay. Then we must wait until we put the operators and we choose equal. So I say when green flag click, wait until your variable, that means the lifeline. So you can go to the variable and choose the lifeline block over here. And then and place is the first statement, and the second one you can change into 0. That means when the green flag click, the code will be wait the lifeline become 0. When the lifeline becomes 0, you can go to control and you put a stop all. That means the game will be stopped immediately. So this is the same step we are going to learn in how to create a code for milk and the snacks. So for milk, normally we will produce a protein, right? So for protein, I will go to the variable. I'll create new variable and we call it as a protein. So we can keep on create our variable by click on the make a variable, and we can make the code for each sprite differently. So now I'm going to teach you an interesting way that we are going to make the sprite, the Danny, growing up whenever she receive a vitamin and protein. So just now I teach you how to stop the game, right? When the lifeline is 0. So now I'm going to teach you how to make the Danny grow up whenever she receive a vitamin C and a protein in her body. So now I'm going to re-edit the Danny, right? So I'm going to click the Danny again, and coding at the bottom. So I will put when green flag click. So when green flag click, so we can see here there has driver block, and I put two if then inside the forever. So since if you click on the save to your computer, you can rename your file name as your project name. And then you can choose the place you're going to save and click save. Okay, so now I'm going to file. Here again, there will be three options. You can click on the first one, new, and you can press OK. Meanwhile, the Scratch will be create a new project to the new file. So students can do your new project in your Scratch over here. Okay, so now the last step, I'm going to teach you how to load your project again. You can go to the file and load from your computer. So then you can go back to the place that you saved the project, click on the project name and open. So now it will load the project and open it waiting. Okay, so that is challenge 2024 coding challenge. So I hope all of you enjoy the moment, and thank you for spend your time and cooperate with us. If you have any questions, you may contact us, or you can send your questions in the chat box.